Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Small School Athletic Director on the Educational AD Podcast. This is our weekly series where we visit with athletic directors at smaller schools, let them share their stories and some tips that have helped them succeed in what's a very rewarding but also can be a challenging environment. Before we meet this week's guest, as always, we want to give our sponsors a shout out. Now, don't hit that fast forward button. I'm watching you. These are all companies that I used as an athletic director. They're all great companies. So take a couple of minutes. It's only going to be about 3 minutes. Listen to our shout outs, then listen to our interview, and then go and visit each one of these sponsors if you're not already using them. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thank you to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards for all the teams, for all the events, or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. It's also a great way to tell your school's unique history and brag about your proudest moments. The website is vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check them out today. We also want to say thanks to Gipper. You know, your students are on social media, and if they're not seeing content to celebrate their accomplishments and promote your program, you're really missing out on a great opportunity. Go to Gipper.com. Their team will have you creating world-class content in seconds, and it's so easy, even I can do it. The website is Gipper.com. Check them out today. We want to thank Home Campus for their support. Home Campus is a platform that you're going to use every single day. Things like scheduling, uploading scores and rosters, communication. How about athletic eligibility and clearance? Who doesn't do that every day? Home Campus does all of these things, and it does it better and does it faster than other platforms. To get started, just go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We'd also like to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, athletic directors already get feedback, but a lot of times it's from a very small group that only wants to complain. Athletic Surveys will connect you to that group, but they're also going to connect you to the 98% of your stakeholders that support your program. And having that data is incredibly valuable, especially when you're talking with a frustrated parent, or maybe your principal, or even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. athleticsurveys.com. We also want to say thanks to our friends at Snap Raise. Have you ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results? Those days are gone. Go to snapraise.com. It's hands down the best online fundraiser out there. We used it at our school. Our coaches loved it. Our parents loved it because it works. Go to snapraise.com. You can check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it. Go to snapraise.com. We'd like to say thank you to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the platform and the tools that they provided. Our kids loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's so much more. Join the 8 million users. Go to huddle.com. Turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thank you to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's from Ohio University, but my assistant athletic director did, and it was a great experience. It was 100% online, very affordable, just 20 months. And while he's earning his master's, Ohio University also provided 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. To find out more, go to ohio.edu/info/MAA, the Ohio University Online Master's Degree. We want to thank Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com and you can schedule a live web demo to see their score tables and their score boards in action. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made. was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Check out their great products today. And we want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing. Hometown Ticketing is the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. I don't think I need to say anything more. Go to hometownticketing.com for more information. It's digital ticketing that offers more. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Small School Athletic Director on the Educational AD Podcast. We are truly talking to an old friend today. Our guest is Kelly Fish. Kelly's been on the podcast a number of times. If you're new to this show, Kelly's a certified master athletic administrator. She's the longtime director of athletics at Currey Ingram Academy. That's in Franklin, Tennessee. Very active at the national level, still a member of the national teaching faculty, lead instructor for the LTC 701, one of the middle school courses that I'm so very fortunate to get to teach with her every year. And recently she stepped a little bit away from athletics. She's currently the assistant head of school at Currey Ingram, but she still has her hand in athletics some. So I thought she'd be a great guest for the show. Kelly Fish, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Jake.
Well, it's a busy time for ADs. Some schools like yours, you've already been back for a couple of weeks. Others are waiting until after Labor Day. Before we get going, share with our listeners a little bit about your background, because I think it's important for them to hear that they're talking to a true master athletic administrator.
Well, I don't know about that, but I was the athletic director here at Currey Ingram Academy for 11 years. I've been at this school going into my 13th year now. So a lot of experience here at this school, which is a junior kindergarten through 12th grade day and boarding program right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. We serve students with learning differences, but that looks a lot of different ways. Really, we excel in individualized learning plans for our students. So real unique, but when it comes to athletics, they're just kids who want to play sports, and we want to give them every opportunity to do that. And I was fortunate enough to be able to do that, like I said, for 11 years. I came to Currey Ingram from Belmont University, where I had been a women's basketball coach and worked in the alumni office for a while. Just really grew up in a gym. So I'm a kid who just loves school sports and have a passion for it. Got my master's in sport administration and wanted to get back into it after kind of going astray for a little bit, and just found a profession and a place that I love. And so, again, Currey Ingram feels like home to me no matter what role I'm serving in. Truly love it. Have loved getting involved in the NIAAA and then at my state level at the TIAAA. And I'm currently our TIAAA state president.
Okay. And a couple of years ago, Kelly also did a little thing. You know, she organized the national conference as the state representative when it was in Nashville. Great conference. Kelly, our definition of a small school has been a high school that has somewhere between 300 and 400 students. You know, your school is very much like the school I was at for most of my career, a K through 12. So you get to see all the levels. But from your time as an AD and also now as an assistant head, you've got a different perspective, maybe more global perspective. What are some things that you found to be helpful for you to lead, not just survive, but to thrive in that small school setting?
Yeah, you know, in that 701 class, we talk a lot about middle school student athletes are not just smaller athletes. You know, they need different programming, and small schools are a lot of that similar mindset of, you know, it's not like we just have less student athletes, less students to choose from. It really can require some different programming and some flexibility and creative thinking in that. Some tips that I think of is one, you know, the culture of the community is even more important, I think, in smaller environments. So just being willing to listen. It's just important to understand the culture. So the fastest way to do that is to show up and listen, to know who you're serving, understand your families and your student athletes. That's a real key thing that I continue to learn and continue to see value from. Secondly, I would say, you know, embrace your size by getting to really know the people. Like, there can be great benefits in your size. Sure, there are challenges. There's challenges in roster numbers. There's challenges in finding volunteers and coaches and things like that. but you can really get to invest in the relationship so much more. And we know how valuable that is. And just the benefit of that, and I think the reward that you'll feel from that is really significant and can be maximized in a smaller environment. I live by the statement of you are not tough alone, and your community in a small school can feel big because it can be so deep and so rooted. And so there's a lot of benefit there. And then the final thing I would say is just usually small also means that you wear a lot of hats. I've moved into this role of the assistant head of school because as an athletic director, I wore a lot of administrative hats, and that kind of showed itself to our leadership as an opportunity for me to shift into this new role. And so just take the approach that every task that you get given, rather than just one more thing on your plate, is really an opportunity to learn, to get more understanding of your community and the culture in your community, and for you to stretch and grow in ways that maybe you don't even anticipate or know that you might need or want in the future. And so, I still wear a lot of hats. I have my hands in a lot of areas of our school, including athletics. And I love that about the job, and I love that about what I get to do. But I think that that's maximized because I'm in a small environment.
Boy, you probably saw me scribbling down all those notes. I love the way you talked about embracing the fact that you are a small school. I know at a bigger school, athletic directors still need, they need somebody for this, they need a parent for that. And sometimes just the volume of students and families and parents can be overwhelming. In a smaller school, you've got, a much narrower scope. And you touched on the idea of that spotlight shining just a little bit brighter. We say it's going to shine on the kids, it's going to shine on the coaches. Certainly, it's going to shine on you as an AD. And opportunities. One of my former heads of school talked about, Jake, I've got an opportunity for leadership for you. And it was almost always something I'm going, oh, geez. But he was
Yeah,
right. It was an opportunity. And you made me think of, somebody else. I don't know who coined this, but, no task for an AD, especially, no task is that important. No task is too small. And what are ADs? You know this. What are ADs but problem solvers? Okay. So
absolutely.
what head of school, what principal wouldn't want a master problem solver on their leadership team, looking at the whole school? Wow. Very
So
cool
true.
stuff. Um, as you have made the move, we'll wrap up with this. As you've made the move into, I think you're the assistant head for advancement and development, that sort of thing. Um,
Yes.
what have you found to be, I'm going to hem you in here, beyond the obvious relationship component, what have you found to be some commonalities between your current position and your previous position dealing strictly with athletics? Anything jump out for you from a leadership role?
Well, I think definitely what you touched on and being solutions oriented. The further up you go, the more people look to you to find solutions and to be the problem solver of the organization. A lot of my role, I'm the only assistant head of school, so and I do mostly really anything operationally for our school, is making sure that problems don't get to our head of school. So that requires me to be constantly in a state of solving problems, listening, making sure you have all the information, all of those things that I absolutely honed those skills in being an athletic director, because, like you said, you're dealing with weather and unpredictable changes, and a bus goes down, and coaches not feeling well. All those things were daily occurrences for me, and so I kind of don't get rattled very easily. And I don't get rattled when other people around might be spiraling out of control or when things might feel crisis mode to other people. And I know that comes from my experience in athletics.
Absolutely. As an AD, it's, I don't know if it's job one, maybe it's job two, is to keep those problems off the head of school's desk that are
Yes.
athletic related. So, no, absolutely.
But
Kelly,
also have the wisdom to know when you do need help or when you do need to elevate it. And I really learned to discern that as an athletic director because so much of what I was doing was after school when everyone else had left. So I was the one. But I'd need to understand that there were some things that I needed to reach out and let people know about before that next morning. And I think that I learned that discernment skill in that role.
Yeah, and that is such a critical point. I'm glad you brought that up. Is there'd be many times, let's say you get that email, you get that phone call from that parent or whatever it is, and you handle it, you manage it, whatever. But as soon as I hang up the phone, I'm calling our head on his cell and just saying, "Hey, just a heads up, in case your phone rings,"
Yeah,
so they're not blindsided. Wow,
right.
great stuff. This has been a master class for leadership at small schools and big schools. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, and listeners, I'm just going to tell you, you got a great resource here. They want to reach out and pick your brain a little bit more or just add you to their network. What's the best way they can get a hold of Kelly Fish?
Definitely send me an email. I'm on my email all day, every day, most of the time. So, or all day, every day, most of the time. That doesn't make sense, does it? I'm on my email a lot. So you can email me at kelly.fish@curreyingram.org. You can find that on the TIAAA website. I am on the NIAAA. I'm a member there. So that's an easy way to find me as well. I'm sure you'll post about it. But kelly.fish@curreyingram.org is the easiest way to get in touch with me. And I would love to be able to help or support or even just kind of listen or bounce ideas off of. A lot of people have helped me. So if I can do that back, I'd be happy to.
Oh no, absolutely. And I'll go ahead and give a shout out for both of us. If you're still trying to decide what courses to take at the NADC in Austin, we can both highly recommend LTC 701,
For
the middle
sure.
school practical course, or any of the courses. They're all great.
You are a
Kelly,
great teaching teammate. It's always an honor.
oh gosh, you've been carrying me for a long time. Kelly, thanks again for sharing with our listeners. All the best as Curry Ingram continues to unfold the fall season, and looking forward to seeing you as usual in Austin.
Thank you, Jake. It's always a pleasure.
For our listeners, it's a pleasure to have you on. And just a reminder, we always upload the Zoom recordings of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this segment every week, and just about every day, we try to share stories and best practices from the world of education-based athletics. Hopefully, you'll come back and join us next time for another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks again for listening. Kelly Fish, one of our very best. Make sure you reach out to her, add her to your network, and reach out to our sponsors. As you've heard me say, these are all companies I used as an athletic director. They're all great. You'll be very glad you reached out. I want to say thanks to Snap Raise, the #1 online fundraiser. I want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider for schools and colleges. We want to thank Huddle as a football coach. I used Huddle as an athletic director. We were a Huddle school. We want to thank Gipper, create world-class marketing content for your teams. Go to Gipper.com. We want to thank Home Campus. Go to homecampus.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. The Ohio University Online Masters, Vital Signs Wall of Fame, and Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. Check these sponsors out today, and thanks again for listening to the Educational AD Podcast.